So you found yourself in Faceit level 2. Today we're going to talk about everything that you need to do in order to escape the Elo pit and climb your way up to level 3. We're going to expand on the last video in this series where we talked about how to escape Faceit level 1, and by the end of this video you are going to have every tool that you need to get out of 2 if you develop the concepts from the last video and then work on these things. So I definitely recommend you guys watch that one. Even if you're level 2, watch that Faceit level 1 video. It'll give you lots of good insight and we can continue because we're going to build off a lot of things from that video, so it's definitely good to know. So for Faceit level 2, very unique rank, very interesting. One thing that I want you to think about a little bit more at Faceit level 2 is just your economy, right? And we're not going to go into detail, we're not going to get into depth, but understand, guys, if you are on CT side and you can't get really a rifle and armor, and then if you're on the T side and you can't get an AK or Galil, most of the rounds you're going to want to save for the next round when you can get that. And I want you guys to understand that if you're going to buy in these save rounds where you're not trying to get these guns up because you're saving in order to get a good buy in the next round, I want you to make sure that your money is above $2,000 so that you can buy AK or Galil armor or M4 or FAMAS armor, one of those two, because these rifles are very important. And if you can develop your skill with these rifles, it means everything, right? So first, before I tell you how to develop your rifle skills, I have to give you a message from the sponsor of today's video. Thank you to the sponsor of today's video, SkinsMonkey. They are one of the greatest and easiest to use CS2 trading sites out there. You can swap out the skins you do not like for brand new ones that are so much more fresh. Even skins that are trade locked can be secured by adding them to your backpack. The greatest thing about the site is that you can buy skins for so much cheaper with a 35% deposit bonus when you use my code CoJo. Make sure to check out the freebie section where you can get a free skin just by completing tasks. On top of the bonuses, you also get a $5 bonus when clicking the link in the description. Okay guys, so now that we understand kind of why we should be saving for these guns and what our money should be looking like, I want you to think about how to use these guns, right? And understand in this video, if I have an AK and talk about CT side things, it's just, you know, because I don't want to switch back and forth, but I want you to use these rifles in a way that maybe you're not doing right now. So whenever you have a rifle, but just most guns in general outside of the SMGs, the AWP, the rifles, the pistols, like deagles and kind of stuff like that, I want you to understand how to be sturdy. Now, what is sturdy being? What does that mean, right? So a lot of you guys, when you're using these rifles right now, we'll use T-side as an example, you're coming out here and you're just like kind of like running around and shooting. And do you see how our bullets are not accurate while we're doing this? I want you guys to try to develop this as a level 2. It's going to be hard, but it will make you better. When you are taking fights, I want you to try to stop moving as much as possible. Now, there's a few ways to do this. So if I'm peeking the left side here, I'm holding my A button, right? And as soon as I'm going to peek an angle, I'm going to tap D. I'm going to tap D down a bit. So I tap D and that cancels my movement. That cancels my momentum. And I want you guys to just get into a server and practice holding A and tap D. Or if you want to peek the other side, practice holding D and tapping A. We're releasing, right? Release that key. Hold A, tap. Hold A, release A, and tap. It sets your momentum so that you're at 0 so that you can get these frags. Now, here's a cheat code to get better at this, but I don't want you to build this into a bad habit. If you crouch while doing this, or just crouch in general, you will cancel your momentum and be accurate, right? So we crouch and we're way more accurate, right? Versus if we just kind of do that, we're not as accurate, right? The bullets aren't going to go where we want them. So understand that you need to be able to cancel your momentum if you're accurate. Way too many players don't understand that and they're just running around shooting. Stop running around shooting and you will get better, even if it makes you a little bit worse in the short term, guys. So let's go ahead and talk about a more CT sided thing that we can look at, or a T side thing in retakes where we have the bomb down. I want you guys to understand how to hold angles, right? Way too many players are exposing themselves when they're holding angles, right? So if they're the B player here on Mirage, you might just randomly find yourself in a situation where you're holding B like this. Guys, I'm not going to go into super detail. We'll do that later in the series, but at level 2, what you have to be able to do is find cover. That cover can be pillars like this, and here, where if you get overran, you can just run behind. Or the best thing to do at your level is to play headshot angles like this. So you're holding the B apps run out, and when they start running out, you're shooting them at a headshot level. Or guys, if you're doing this in Faceit level 2, you will succeed. Playing it on an angle like this, where you're holding apps at an off angle on a ledge. right, where mostly only your head is showing, it is always going to help you and make you so much better, right? Same thing when we're fighting somebody on catwalk here, guys. If we're in connector and we're fighting a guy on catwalk, don't run all the way up here and try to fight them in the open where you have no cover. There's nothing you can do. Guys, fight them on an angle where you can tap at them, you can crouch and just see their head. And from their perspective, it's so hard to kill you, right? Across the map, everywhere you play, that is going to be the strategy. When you're holding ramp, play it behind here and then isolate these fights like this. Too many new players, they sit here and they hold ramp and they do this, which brings me into my next point, guys. Start to think about what angles you're exposing yourself to. You don't need to make it rocket science, but in your brain, say, okay, what angle do I want to hold? And you're like, okay, I want to hold ramp. Well, don't hold it from here because look, not only are you exposed from ramp if they run out with flashes and stuff, but look, someone can kill you from palace. So no matter what map you're playing, what position you're in, what angles you're holding, I want you to play in positions where you are not exposed to both positions, right? So we'll use that here on B as another example. If you are playing B and they could be out mid the other team, don't be exposed to both. Don't play like this because someone could shoot you from catwalk, right? If you're holding apps, hold it from a position where only the B guys can kill you. Only the apps guys can kill you. Hold it from van in here because the cat guys can't shoot you. If you can get up on balk, that's even better, playing up here. If you're holding catwalk, don't be exposed to apps, right? Don't hold catwalk here because someone could walk out of apps and shoot you from behind. So don't overcomplicate this. Literally, just think to yourself, I'm holding cat, don't be exposed to the other side. Even Faceit level 10 struggle with this, guys. So if you can do this at level 2 and it's not rocket science, you will get better. What am I holding? Am I exposed to anything else? Now, that brings me into arguably the most important thing in this video. And before I tell you, again, guys, support me on all my other channels. And I also offer personalized coaching, individual coaching, demo review, and I can help you speed run from whatever rank you are at to the highest level that you want to be at, right? I can give you that personalized coaching. There's a form in the description that you can fill out if you would like to buy my services. So guys, the most important thing you can develop at Faceit level 2 is this, your communication. Make sure you have a talk button so that you can communicate with your teammates. And at Faceit level 2, I don't even really care what you're talking about as long as you are feeding some sort of information, right? So say I'm opping on Mirage here in my window position. I need to be able to tell my teammates, hey, 3 people just swung middle. And at Faceit level 2, they're not going to be able to do much with that info. You guys aren't going to be able to like really understand the next level concepts of what needs to happen, but feed that information to your teammates, right? Tell them, hey, there's 3 people out middle, or tell them, can somebody play A for me? When you're in spawn, ask for a drop. Hey, can you drop me an AK? Use your mic to help coordinate things with your teammates. If you want to get better, you have to be able to talk. Too many of you guys are no-commers. You no-commers are making the life hard for your teammates, right? Don't worry about what you're talking about. Just talk to your teammates and use that teamwork. Imagine a professional sports match where they're not talking at all, right? Imagine an NFL game, a football game, where nobody's communicating, nobody's saying a word. Imagine, a baseball game where people aren't talking to each other in the dugout and communicating what strategies, what they need to do. And guys, also remember, this is a mental game. Even if you don't know what to talk about in the game with like, oh, they're running out ramp, they're here. Guys, support your teammates, hype them up. Winning games is as simple as, nice job, Yellow. That was a sick clutch, bro. Just tell them what you need, give that emotional support, and you will be so much better off. And guys, the last thing I want to talk about in this video for Faceit level 2s, maybe this video ran a little long, I didn't think it would, is understanding default positions. Don't worry about exactly the tips and tricks, the nades that you need to be throwing in each specific spot, because like you guys are probably just gonna end up overwhelming yourself right now. Just understand across the maps what positions mean, right? So understand on Mirage, right? On Mirage, let me get a pistol here. You need an A player generally, right? You need a player to hold A site, and that is your job if you're the A player. You need a connector player that helps support mid but can also be an A player. You need an opper that can play mid window but also float around the map. You need a B player that is an anchor to B site and just holds B site no matter what. And then you need a catwalk player that supports mid but also helps B if needed. Understand across the board on these maps what positions mean, and understanding how to kind of play each position at the level that you can. You're going to be bad at it at first, but it's about developing that skill and at least understanding that positions exist. Too many low level players think that this is Call of Duty and they just run around on the CT side every single map and don't know what they're doing. Guys, I'm not going to go into detail right now, but also T side, understand that there's spots you should be kind of gearing towards, right? You kind of need someone to pressure towards A every round, but maybe just throw nades or just sit here and wait for a push. You need somebody, you need a pack of players that go mid or work at a different part of the map. Understand that specifically on CT side though, you've got to understand these positions and understand kind of what your job is. Understand that every person in a game has a job, right? So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this video. And Faceit level 3, we are going to do a mega video because that is where most players are going to find themselves when they first start playing Faceit. So I want to help you guys out with that. But this is a little bit of a transition video from 1 to 3, so there's not as much to get into. But guys, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on. I love my notification gang. You guys are amazing. Go ahead and leave comments below what tips you think level 3s need, because I might use your tips for the video. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Let's keep growing, let's keep learning, and stay tuned for the banger that I'll be posting tomorrow. So appreciate all of you. Peace out.